Hey people, hope you guys doing great. In today's video we will see, what if Naruto had Egyptian god card and got harem with 10 girls in Yu-Gi-Oh! Part 2. Huge shout out to Demon Zone 2571 for this story. If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe and like the video. So let's start the story. It has been a week since Naruto and Judai had gotten promoted to the RA Yellow dorm. Though the head of the RA dorm, Professor Sartor, was still working on getting them a room, so the two were still held up in their Slifer dorm room, though they didn't mind that the two could stay with their friends and all. But it's been an entire week and they still don't have a room in their new dorm. It was times like these that Naruto really wished he had called Kaiba to help with this transition, but knew that his godfather was a busy man. That, and if the call wasn't extremely important, then Sito would put him on hold for hours on hand, until either Kaiba picked up, or Naruto had threw the phone out the nearest window via frustration. Another thing that has changed was his relationship with Judai, which was on second base. For those who don't know what second base is, it's heavy petting and feeling up while making out, up the shirt or shirtless for both partners. Something that Judai enjoyed very much. Another thing is the addition of Alexis Rhodes into the ever-growing harem when Judai brought the idea up. At first he was skeptical of the idea, but after calling Serenity and the girls making a compelling argument, something about keeping him out of trouble. This made Serenity agree with them and Naruto to cry anime tears chanting "I don't get into trouble." Unknown Lokutan at night. It was the dead of night. The moon was full and was shining throughout the night sky. We find Alexis approaching a building that looks like it had been abandoned. She then lays a single rose at the front of a chain post. "Be at peace, brother. Wherever you are. If you're watching over me, then you'd see that I'm in a relationship with some wonderful people," she thought to herself. Slifer dorm. Here we find Naruto, Judai, Cyrus and Chumli sitting around a candlelight table telling ghost stories. Cyrus had just finished with his story and was teased by Judai about the condition of the water that Cyrus was dragged in. Naruto was chuckling because in his experience, being dragged underwater pales in comparison with the things he's seen before coming to this world. In the back of the room, Chumli was trembling from Cyrus's story, and who wouldn't be surprised? The boy hardly ever leaves his room, so any scary story would scare him. Still mid-level scare for a mid-level card, Judai said, holding 13th grave. "I hope I get a good card," she said, only to pull Sinister Serpent. "Oh, you lucked out, you get to hardly scare us with that low-level card," Cyrus said, sighing in relief of not having to listen to a scary story. Then Judai talks about a memory that she had about hearing sounds coming from her cards. At this, Naruto smiled. "Well, Judai-chan, it would seem that your cards choose you to be their ears," Naruto said, getting a giggle from his girlfriend. "Yup, and it's thanks to Naru-kun that now I can understand my monsters better," she said, snuggling to her boyfriend. "Well, I guess it's," he said as he reached for the deck. "Ha ha 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 ha. I would like to join on the Fright Fest," said as he appeared right behind them, scaring Cyrus and Chumli out of their seats, while Judai leaped into Naruto's arms carrying her princess style. "I think you just did," Cyrus said, trying to regain his bearings. "We're kind of at the edge of our seats," Judai said, hugging her blonde boyfriend. "Or at least we were," Cyrus said, getting back to his seat, while Chumli was at the back of the room quivering in fear of being surprised by the sudden appearance of their dorm headmaster. "But since you're here now, why don't you draw a card? The tougher it is, the scarier your story has to be," Cyrus said, fixing his glasses. Banner then drew a card, and the card he drew was Five-Headed God Dragon. "Well, that's a level 12 monster," Judai said with amazement. At the sight of the card, Cyrus started to get nervous. "Yeah, I think I'm gonna go to bed now," Cyrus said, trying to chicken out of a good story in Naruto's opinion. "Ha ha ha ha, what is wrong? Don't you want to hear about the abandoned dorm at the end of the island?" Banner asked. At this, Naruto's face morphed from cheerful to somewhat serious. "The abandoned dorm. So that's what Kaiba asked me to look into," Naruto thought to himself. As Banner spoke about the abandoned dorm, Naruto took note from what Banner was saying, and the part about several of the students disappearing definitely intrigued him. Then when Banner mentioned shadow games, Naruto's eyes slightly widened to hide his surprise, so Kaiba's suspicions were accurate after all. That dorm and those students were playing with forces that should have been left alone. "I'll have to go there myself and see if I can find anything," Good thing Kaiba Koifu gave me that all-access pass Naruto though, as he started to plan his next step. Thanks, you can stop now, a frightened Chumli said, trying to get Banner to stop the story. You see, kids' shadow games are duels played with powerful mystical items, Banner said. You mean the Millennium items such as the puzzle once owned by the King of Games himself, or the Millennium Rod used by Merrick Ishtar during the Battle City Finals, Naruto said, cutting off Banner. Banner then laughed. I see you know about the Millennium items, young Pegasus, Banner said with a smile on his face. Naruto huffed. Well, of course I do. My god brother is Yugi Muto after all, plus his grandfather Solomon Muto told me stories about the items and how they were used to conduct shadow duels against each other, he said, getting ahs from the Judai, Cyrus, and Chumli. Pharaoh then meowed. Banner then stood up. Well, I guess that's my cue to get back home, he said as he left the students. Later they said in unison. You know, there's this creepy building I saw in the forest, Cyrus said, only to be cut off by Judai, who jumped from her place on Naruto's lap and onto her feet. Ah, sweet, so you'll lead us tomorrow night, Judai said with excitement. What? Both Cyrus and Chumli said. Wait a sec, what do you mean us? Asked Chumli. It'll be fun, Judai said before being cut off by Naruto. Meanwhile, outside, Growler was chuckling up a storm. Oh yes, this is the opportunity that I've been waiting for, he said to himself. It's time the shadow games made a comeback. Millennium items and all, ha 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 ha, Growler thought to himself as he walked away. At the same time inside, I'm afraid that's a no-go for any of you, he said, making everyone look at him. And why not? Judai asked with an angry pout. In order, 1. The place is forbidden for all students and anyone caught there will be expelled. And 2. I have clearance to go there because I work for Seto Kaiba and he gave me several things to look into, and one of those things just happened to be the abandoned dorm, he said, getting surprised looks from his friends and girlfriend. How come we're hearing about this now? Asked Judai. Did you read the rule book? The blonde asked, making everyone's sweat drop. No, the brunette said. Then there's your answer, Naruto said with a smile and 2 eye smiles, only to get hit with a paper fan by an angry Judai. That's not funny, Judai said, pouting with tears threatening to fall down her reddened face. And besides, why would Kaiba ask you to investigate the dorm? Asked Cyrus. Naruto, rubbing the lump on his head, turned to the brunette. Because like I said earlier, I work for him, and since I was already coming here, he gave me a list of things to look into, and the abandoned dorm just so happens to be on the list, and now that Banner told us what happened there, I can go there and search for clues about what took place there, and also see how the Shadow Realm fits into all this, he said. Judai huffed. Fine, but we're coming too, and that's final, she said, leaving no room for argument. Naruto sighed in defeat. Fine, you can come, but you have to follow my orders, he said, getting nods from the other 3. Meanwhile, in Domino's City, in a dark alleyway, 2 people were dueling. One of them was an average-sized man with a bald head, and the other was a very tall man wearing a black trench coat, wearing a mask and a fedora. Ayaha. Okay, you win, please just take anything you want, just go, the frightened man said. Then the tall man pulled out a pyramid-shaped object. What I want is your soul, he said as the object in his hand started to glow a bright gold. No, please show some mercy, the bald man begged. Some mercy? What is that? The large man asked as the pyramid glowed crimson. After a blinding flash of light, the bald man was laying on the ground unconscious. Then the tall man approached the unconscious man. Rest in peace in the Shadow Realm, he said as he heard his phone go off. Speak, he said as he answered his phone. Duel Academy, tomorrow night, I'll be there, he responded. The next day, we find our heroes sitting in Professor Banner's class as he talked about the philosophy of dueling. Naruto and Judai were taking notes, while Cyrus was sleeping. Well, that's what happens when you spend the majority of the night telling stories. Meanwhile, outside, Growler was spying on the group, frustrated that the pair of recently promoted Ras weren't acting like their Slifer friend was sleeping in class. You two will have a lesson in the shadow games soon enough, Growler thought as he glared at the 2 former Slifer students. Nighttime. Nighttime on the dock where the lighthouse is. Growler was standing next to the lighthouse, as a black-clad figure appears. Ah, so you're the one they call the Shadow Duelist, Growler said, the large male figure. The mist started to seep from his cloak. My opponents call me many things, but most of which are hard to discern of sheer terror. But enough small talk, what's the job? He asked the obelisk head. I want you to frighten someone so intensely that he leaves this academy and never comes back, he said as the mist approached him at his feet. Up to the challenge? Growler asked. Of course, I never turn my back to a challenge, he said with the same monotone. Then as the mist thickened, Growler comically jumped around the man, and the man followed his movements. Oh my, you are good, he said with some evidence of terror in his voice. I'm better than good, and I'll prove it not just by scaring this someone, but by banishing him to the Shadow Realm, he said as he slid backwards and faded into the mist, leaving Growler where he stood. Growler then smiled. Well, all right, if you insist, he said to the group. After some walking and listening to Cyrus and Chumley about bathing, the group finally made it to the abandoned dorm. Naruto then let out a small sigh. I still can't believe you talked me into letting you three come with me on this investigation, the blonde said with a hint of defeat. Come on, Naruto-kun, it'll be fun, and beside you'd be lonely out here, Judai said as she hugged Naruto, who merely blushed at her statement. Cyrus then noticed the rose on the ground. Hey, I wonder who could have left that, he asked. Naruto then spoke. Well, Banner said that some of the students went missing here, so whoever left that rose must have been a relative to one of those students, Naruto said in a sad tone. Then they heard the sound of a branch breaking. Ah, who's that? Cyrus and Chumley yelled as Cyrus jumped into Chumley's arms, and Scooby-Doo much lol. Both Naruto and Judai turned around and pointed their flashlights at the direction of the sound. There they saw a familiar obelisk blue girl, Alexis Rhodes. Oh hey Alexis-chan, nice finding you here, Naruto greeted as Judai jumped to hug her. She latched onto the blonde. Alexis, what are you doing here? Cyrus asked before Chumley dropped him to the ground. Alexis pushed Judai off. Approached them. That's funny because I was about to ask you the same thing? She asked. Naruto then cleared his throat. I have a reason to be here. The other three merely tagged along, he said as he opened up his bag and started to set up a go-cam. Alexis then raised an eyebrow. Oh, and what reason is that? She asked her love interest. Before Naruto could speak, Judai spoke. It's because he works for Seto Kaiba and was asked to look into things that caught his attention, and the mystery of the abandoned dorm is one of them, she chimed. Naruto then put his knuckles on Judai's temples and squeezed rather hard. That was classified information, Judai. I don't need my investigation being compromised. Itachi. I'm sorry, Naruto-kun, the girl stated to flap her arms and let little comical tears fall out of her eyes. Naruto then let Judai go and turned to the group. So, now that you know why I'm here, can you tell me what your connection to the abandoned dorm is? Judai rubbed her temples to ease the pain. Mine, she scowled. Alexis made a sad face and turned away. One of the kids that disappeared was my brother, she said in a sad tone as she left. This shocked the group, so I guess the rose was for him, Naruto thought. Then Naruto turned to the dorm. If her story is true, then this entire investigation is starting to sound like a horror movie come to life, he said as he hopped over the chain. He and Judai and Chumley started to make their way to the dorm. We should head back, you guys, quivered Cyrus. Cyrus, you better come over here, or so help me I'll come over there and drag you here, Naruto shouted, completely annoyed by the cowardice of the blue-haired slifer. Cyrus weighed his options and voted to follow. Hey, wait up, he said, trying to catch up with his friends. Meanwhile, Alexis turned around and saw Naruto, and the group enters the dorm. I hope Naruto-kun knows what he's doing, she thought with a worried expression to her face. As she turned around to leave, she was stopped by a tall black-cloaked figure. Aya! Inside the dorm. Naruto then turned on the go-cam and started recorded. Alright everyone, stay close and try not to damage anything, he said, getting highs from the group. You with a few decorations here and there, and we can totally move in here, Judai said with a megawatt smile to her face. Are you kidding? This is worse than the Slifer dorm, Cyrus complained. Meanwhile, Naruto took shoots of the wall and saw hieroglyphics and several images of the Millennium items. Then he found a photo of someone he's never seen before, but in the picture he was wearing an obelisk blue uniform, so he assumed that he was one of the missing students. Unknown location. Alexis wakes up and finds herself bound and in a creepy coffin. Where am I? She asked as a creepy laugh was heard. Don't worry, my dear, you're merely the bait to lure my quarry to me, the voice said. Naruto. Judai, she said. Then a golden slit eye appeared, glowing gold, thus blinding her. Aha! Screamed Alexis. Back with the others. That sounded like. Cyrus said. Alexis. Both Naruto and Judai yelled as they followed the scream to a cavern where they found her atoll cyber. Then they reached a cave where they found Alexis unconscious and a suspicious black-clad figure. At this, Naruto was angry that someone had hurt someone he cared for. So you finally decided to join us, the man said as he approaches them through the fog. Welcome, Naruto. Judai, for this will be your end, he said. Who the hell are you? Judai asked as she yelled. My name is Titan the Shadow Duelist, the name said as he introduced himself. At this, Naruto's eyes widened a bit. He had heard rumors of a duelist going around and sending their souls to the Shadow Realm. The question that was swimming through his head was how did Titan get on the island without anyone noticing him? But decided to leave it for later. What did you do to Alexis? Naruto asked with a growl. Like I said, boy, I'm the Shadow Duelist, so from my title you can guess what happened, he said. Naruto clenched his fists until blood was drawn. You bastard. I'll kill you for hurting Alexis, he said as his features became more feral. The man grinned, tempting as that may sound, but I would prefer a duel than actual combat, the man said as he activated his dual disc. Naruto then got out his dual disc, inserted his deck and activated it. I'll rip you to shreds when this is over, Titan, Naruto said with a sneer. He then turned to Alexis. I'll rescue you, Alexis. Count on it, he thought as he turned his attention back to Titan. That's if you can defeat me, Titan jeered. Duel, they both said. Naruto 4000. Titan 4000. I'll go first, draw, said Titan as his disc auto shot his card to his hand. I summon Infernal Queen Archfiend, 900/1500, in attack mode, he said as he summons his fiend monster. An Archfiend deck, Naruto said with a surprised look to his face, since this was the first he had encountered this Arch-type deck since its creation by his father. When this card is summoned to the field, it increases the attack of a fiend monster by 1000 points, Titan said as he explained his monster effect. Judai and the group were surprised, but then that means, Cyrus said as the fiend monster increased its power. 900 plus 1000 is equal to 1900. Your deck is strong, I'll give you that much, but that power also comes at a price of your life points being taken by your own monsters during each of your standby phases in order to keep your field full of monsters, Naruto said as he remembered this deck's effects. Titan then laughed. A price, you say? He asked. That would be true, but not in the presence of this card. The field spell Pandemonium, he said as he activated his field spell, which created a blinding flash of light which forced everyone to cover their eyes. When the flash was over, the field had changed, for the cave to what the portal to hell looked like, with skeletons creating pillars and a pit at the center. What is this? Judai asked with actual fear in her voice. Let's just say it's the edge of hell, for now. I've activated my field spell Pandemonium, Titan said. Oh great, I hate that card, the blonde said as he glared at Titan. Good. Because this card prevents the cost to maintain my deck from happening and gives monsters with Archfiend in their name the ability to be revived when destroyed outside of battle. Now it's your turn, he said. Whoa, now. If you're so concerned about the girl, then allow me to put her out of your sight, he said as the coffin closed by itself, thus sealing Alexis inside. Then skeletal fingers appeared and dragged the coffin down. Alexis! Naruto yelled. You bastard! Judai yelled. That was low, you creep! Chumley yelled. You coward! Yelled Cyrus. Say what you will, fools, but this is a shadow duel. If you prefer, I'll make the rest of you disappear, as well! Yelled Titan. This shocked Judai, Chumley and Cyrus and made Naruto even more furious. If you so much as hurt them, I'll kill you in this duel, Naruto said. I'll start by activating Graceful Charity. I draw 3 and discard 2, he said as he did what the card said. Then I activate 2 spell card Gateway of the 6 and 6 Samurai United, and since I have no monsters while you have 1, I special summon Elder of the 6 Samurai, 400/0 in attack mode and activate the spell card Asceticism of the 6 Samurai and special summon Kagemusha of the 6 Samurai, 400/1800, in attack mode, he said as he summoned his monster. Now I activate 6 Samurai United and send it to the graveyard and draw 2 cards. He did as the card instructed. He drew his cards and continued. Now I activate Monster Reborn, he said. Titan was confused. Wait, you need a monster target in the graveyard and I still have my Infernal Queen Archfiend is on the field, he said. Then Naruto chuckled. Who said I was aiming for your graveyard? This shocked Titan. Then he remembered graceful charity from before. So you purposely sent a monster to the graveyard? He asked. Ding ding ding, give the dead man a prize. I revive a blast from my past. Mifune the 47th Ronin. Thank you Anime Death Angel for the monster idea. 2400/2100. In attack mode, he said as an elderly man appeared with long, gray hair, which almost reaches down to his waist, with bandages wrapped around his head. He has black eyes with distinct wrinkles underneath them, a gray goatee and mustache. He was also wearing 6 samurai-style armor, but was much more traditional in appearance when compared to the ones worn by the other 6 samurais. It's composed of a breastplate, with 4 plates protecting his legs attached to it, identical shoulder pads, and matching arm and leg guards. He also wears a belt, to which is attached a pouch, and his sword, Kurosawa, in his waist. The monster then turned to Naruto and smiled. It's good to see you again, Naruto-san, he said with a slight bow. Mifune, it's been too long, my old friend. We can catch up later, but for now we have a duel to win, Naruto said. Very well, Naruto-san, he said, drawing his blade. Just so you know, Mifune's name is treated as 6 samurai, so I get 2 counters because of it. Next, I tune my level 2 Kagemusha of the 6 Samurai with my level 3 Elder of the 6 Samurai and synchro summon, he said as the 2 monsters jumps in the air. Kagemusha turned to 2 green rings and surrounded Elder of the 6 Samurai. May your blade be true and you will be strong as your sword. Synchro summon. A blast of light appeared before him. Appear before me, legendary 6 Samurai Shuren, 2500/1400. Naruto roared as the giant pillar of light disappeared and was replaced with a warrior clad in red samurai armor, and was carrying a serrated edge katana. Now I activate Gateway of the 6th effect and tribute 4 counters 2 times to search my deck for 2 monsters with 6 samurai in their name, he said as he did, and special summons 2 legendary 6 samurai Kazan. Now I activate the same effect and search my deck of my final Kazan, he said as he searched the monster he needed and special summoned it to the field. What do you plan to do with those monsters? Titan asked with a hint of fear. I'm about to show you what a real demon is, he said as he pulled out his card as it started to glow. Since I special summoned all my monsters, I'll summon a true demon. I sacrifice all 3 of my Kazan to summon Obelisk the Tormentor, 4000/4000. He yelled as all 3 Kazan dematerialized, and he slammed the card onto his dual disc. What? Yelled Titan. A portal opened behind Naruto and a giant blue arm appeared, then a giant blue muscular figure appeared out of the portal. The muscular monster stared down at Titan. Why, you have an Egyptian god card? Titan said with much fear. Are you scared of my god card? Naruto said with false pity, then he smirked. Alright, I'll start by crippling you, so Shuren attack his demon queen, he ordered as his armored warrior, who then lunged at the fiend monster and sliced it in half. 2500 minus 1900 is equal to 600. 4000 minus 600 is equal to 3400. Also, for every monster with samurai in its name that re in my graveyard, my monster gets 100 attack and defense points for each, and I have 5, so Mifune is now at 2900. Mifune, attack him directly, he ordered his monster. With pleasure, he said as he charged at Titan and brought down his sword onto Titan. 3400 minus 2900 is equal to 500. Now to end this. Obelisk Fin, he ordered his monster to end the duel, when the serpent heads around the cave started to light up, getting everyone's attention. Then on the floor appeared a golden eye. What is this? Naruto asked. Then black mist appeared swirling around them. The smoke wrapped around them and then condenses it to a black ball. Naruto/Naruto-kun, the group yelled. What is this? Titan asked as he yelled. Naruto looked around. So this is the Shadow Realm, Naruto said as his monsters turned to him and nodded. Then they see black balls falling around them. They attacked Titan and were marching to Naruto, only for Mizuho to appear and attack the black blob monsters. No one harms my master, she said as she sliced the blobs into pieces. Stay back. Help me! Titan yelled as the monster's dog piled him and going into his mouth. Hey, are you okay? Naruto asked as his demonic features faded. Titan then looked at Naruto with glowing red eyes. Well, are you going to end your turn? He asked with a demented tone. No, I'll finish this duel. Go Obelisk, end this duel with Fist of Fury. Naruto commanded as the giant blue monster brought his left arm up, made a fist and threw it at Titan. 4,000 minus 500 is equal to minus 3,500. Titan equals 0. Naruto equals winner. Titan equals defeated. Then the black blobs attacked Titan and started to go after Naruto. Let's get out of here, he said as Obelisk tore a hole through the darkness, and Naruto along with his monsters followed after their master. Naruto jumped out of the hole and so did his monsters, but they all turned into their spirit forms. Whoa. I never want to do that again, he said, but then gets tackled by a crying Judai. Naruto-kun. I was so worried, she said, holding on to him for dear life. Naruto then smiled, then caressed her brown hair. I'm here, Judai-chan, he said in a soft tone. Then the balls started to condense. Hit the ground, Chumli said as he ducked with Cyrus, and Naruto turned his back to the ball, thus shielding Judai from harm. He then notices the coffin that Alexis was in was being pulled to the ball. Alexis! He yelled as he did something that surprised Judai. He had created a clone of himself to stop the coffin from being sucked in. When it was over, the clone disappeared in a smokeless vanish. Naruto then sighed. Oh man, Kaiba is not going to like this, he said, knowing what his boss might say about this whole investigation. If the abandoned dorm, then Titan being on the island, and now the Shadow Realm has a connection to what happened to the students here. Oh yeah, the report of his findings were going to make even Pegasus on Halloween seem normal. Naruto then got up and walked over to the coffin. Then his picked up Alexis and carried her via princess style. Come on guys, let's get out of here, he said, with everyone agreeing to his idea. Several minutes later, Growler was walking down the halls of the abandoned dorm. Naruto and Judai should be smashed to pieces by now, he said with a chuckle. He then appeared in the main room. There is no one here. I bet that fool failed me no any, he said as he discovered something. He found the Pandemonium Field spell and realized that his hired help had failed to take out Naruto and Judai. Meanwhile, with the group, Alexis was coming too. The first thing she sees was Naruto and Judai smiling at her. Oh, thank goodness you're alright, Naruto said. What are you guys doing here? She asked Naruto's group. We're sorry that we were giving you a hard time, but don't worry about it. The guy who attacked ran off, and Naruto-kun was the one who defeated him by summoning your dorm's mascot, said Judai with a smile on her face. What? Alexis asked, only for Naruto to reveal the obelisk card. So you, she said? Have all three? Yes. The first two have made an appearance. But I feel that something will have me use the third, and I hope that someone deserves it, he said in an angry tone that wasn't missed by anyone. Then Naruto pulled out a Tool Cyber and the picture they had found in the dorm. Here, and here, he said, giving her the photo and card. She grabbed the items and was drawn to the photo. Brother, she said. There is no mistake. This is my brother Atticus Rhodes, she said. I'm very sorry, Alexis, but that was the only clue we could muster up. When I heard about your brother, we figured I wonder if we could help out a bit, and besides, this was also part of my investigation. Which reminds me, he said as he checked his GoCam to see that it was still recording. This footage must be sent to Kaiba immediately, and knowing him, he'll open up a case about this to look further into the incident of the dorm and its connection to the Shadow Realm, he said. Wait, so that's why? She asked, feeling a ping of hurt inside her heart. No, I went in there with the intention of help you, Alexis, because no one should lose a family member, and if there is a way to bring your brother back, I'll find it, he said, making Alexis tear up with joy in knowing that her love interest did care for her. The sun rose and all four members of the investigation party got up and stretched. I can't believe this turned into an all-nighter, Chumli complained. Shit! We better head back before anyone finds out that we've been going, and besides, I need to report to Kaiba and submit my findings to him, Naruto said as he started running back to the Slifer dorm with Judai, Cyrus, and Chumli following close behind. Alexis looked on and smiled with a few tears coming down as she hugged the photo. Thank you, Naruto-kun, she said to herself. It was a foggy night, and the lighthouse shined its light to alert any passing ships of the island. On the dock, you can see Alexis walking and was startled to see Zane Truesdale there looking out at the ocean. Zane, Alexis said, trying to get the Obelisk Blue's attention as she walked closer. Dawn seems so far away, huh? Zane asked, no taking his eyes off the ocean. Yes, but I believe there's no night without dawn, she answered. We leave the two and cut to where Naruto and Judai were being taken to a hearing of what they've done. However, just before they were taken, Naruto had just submitted his findings to Kaiba when campus security had busted into his dorm room, which he shared with Judai. The two were asked to come with them to have a hearing about them being in a restricted area that was the abandoned dorm. Also, both Cyrus and Chumli were being taken to the same destination as they were, so they all knew they were in serious trouble, but luckily for them, Naruto had a way to save his girlfriend and his friends. After arriving, they were told immediately what their fate was. What expelled? Both Judai and Cyrus asked. While Naruto looked on with a serious face at what the inquiry board has to say. Earlier today, Naruto, Pegasus, Judai Yuki and two accomplices broke into the abandoned dorm, which was closed off and was made off limits, and wreaked havoc inside. The investigation has commenced, the head of the campus security said. We were there because, Judai said, before Naruto cut in. We were there because I was under orders to investigate certain things on this island, and the abandoned dorm was one of them, Naruto said, getting everyone's attention. Under who orders, if I may ask? Growler asked. My godfather and owner of Duel Academy, Seto Kaiba, Naruto said. This made everyone's except Shepard's jaw drop. What? They yelled, except for Shepard, who was already aware for Naruto's circumstances. Your godfather. Seto Kaiba, ha. Nice try, Blondie, but that's hard to believe, Growler said, trying to save face. If you don't believe me, then I guess I can do this, he said as he put down his bag, opened it up, and pulled out a laptop. Activated it, and called Kaiba via video phone. The call connected and the image of Seto Kaiba came into view. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Kaiba said in a serious tone. Gee, good morning, Kaiba-sama, they said in unison with a hint of fear. Naruto then pulled out a collapsed table out of his bag, set the table up and set the laptop down facing the faculty board. Naruto's posture then changed as he bowed. Seto Kaiba Taicho, good morning, Naruto said in a respectable tone. This got the attention of Judai and her friends. Hello, Naruto. I got the file and the report from your investigation of the abandoned dorm and its connection to the Shadow Realm, and also the surprise appearance of the Shadow Duelist is quite questionable, but the video file that you sent me supports what your report says, Kaiba said as he looked at a paper. Hi, Titan couldn't have gotten on the island unless he was brought here without anyone's knowledge, Naruto said, making Growler sweat a bit. Well, it doesn't matter now, however. From your report, you had help from the names listed here: Judai Yuki, Cyrus Truesdale, Chumli Huffington, and Alexis Rhodes, who was kidnapped by Titan, Kaiba said, naming the individuals off the sheet. Hi, they were a big help in my investigation, and Alexis was there to pay her respects for her fallen brother, and I would like to request a pardon for them, Naruto said in a respectable tone. Kaiba looked at Naruto and nodded. Granted, your friends will receive full pardon for aiding you in an investigation that I ordered you to undertake on my behalf, and I'll pardon Alexis because paying respects to a lost family member isn't worthy of a crime, Kaiba said. Thank you, Kaiba Koifa, Naruto said as he bowed. Wait just a minute, Growler said, getting everyone's attention. Oh, and who are you? Kaiba asked. I'm Dr. Growler, and these students must be punished for entering a restricted area, Growler said with an angered tone. Naruto then pulled out his PDA and accessed his all-access pass and a letter from Kaiba giving him permission to go to any area of the academy and not receive the penalty. This made Growler fume because now Naruto and his friends were untouchable. I believe that my godson and his friends have won immunity for now, however, just to ask, what would have been the penalty? Kaiba asked. A punishment tag team duel, Growler said. At this, Kaiba smiled. Well, since they can't be punished, make it an exhibition match with Naruto and Judai against any duelist of your choosing, Kaiba said with a smirk on his face. At this, Cyrus and Chumli were relieved that they were scot-free, but now both Naruto and Judai were to partake in an exhibition match against two duelists in a tag team match. Naruto then turned to Judai, who nodded, and Naruto turned to Kaiba. Kaiba, we accept this match, Naruto said with a grin. This made Kaiba grin as well. Very well, Naruto. I look forward to your victory in this match, Kaiba said before the feed was cut. Several minutes have passed since the hearing, and Shepard was at his desk doing paperwork when Alexis walked in. Sir, there's something, she said, but the Chancellor cut her off. I know, Alexis, and Naruto has requested that you're to receive full pardon and would be allowed to continue to go there to pay your respects to your brother, Shepard said, making Alexis look shocked. How did? Alexis tried to ask, but the words couldn't form. Naruto called Kaiba to confirm what he was saying was true, and boy was it a conference. So basically all those who were involved were pardoned, and both Naruto and Judai will be in an exhibition tag team duel, Shepard said. Alexis sighed in relief and left Shepard's office. Meanwhile, with Naruto and Judai. After returning from their trial, the couple immediately got to work in fine-tuning their respective decks. Although Naruto had received a pack of gi from his father, and what he got surprised him greatly. Hey Naruto-kun, let's have a duel to see where we stand, Judai suggested. Naruto then got his deck and duel disc. Let's go, he said with a smile. When they arrived to the coast, Chumli, Alexis, Bastion and Cyrus came by to watch their duel. As the waves crashed against the rocks, the two looked at each other with an intense gaze, waiting to see who will be the first to go. Hey Naruto-kun, don't hold back. Let's not think of it as a test in our skills, and just have fun, Judai said in her peppy tone. I was about to say the same thing, love, Naruto said, making Judai blush and Alexis peeved. Duel! Naruto and Judai yelled. 4,000 Judai. 4,000 Naruto. I'll let you go first, Judai-chan, Naruto said. With pleasure, draw, Judai said as she drew her first card and looked at it. I'll summon Elemental Hero Stratos, ATK 1800/Def, 300, Attribute, Wind, Type, Warrior/Effect, Level 4. When this card is normal or special summoned, you can activate one of these effects. You can destroy spell/trap cards on the field, up to the number of hero monsters you control, except this card. Add one hero monster from your deck to your hand. Upon seeing this monster, Naruto smiled. I see that you're using the new elemental heroes I gave you, Naruto said. Hi, I love them, Naruto-kun. Thank you, she said as she plays a card face down, thus ending her turn. Naruto then drew his card and got a look that said he remembered something. Oh, Judai-chan, today I'm not using my main deck. Instead, I'm my original deck that Toussaint sent me today, and from what I can tell, he made a lot of modifications, Naruto said, getting a wide-eyed look from everyone. Wow, your old original deck, can't wait to see what it can do, Judai said with excitement in her voice. The sidelines. A new deck, and his original deck also means a new challenge for Judai and for Naruto, Bastion said with his arms folded. What do you mean? Cyrus asked. It means that since Judai is up against a deck that has never seen before, she might have to come up with something different, since Naruto isn't using his signature 6 Samurai deck. Also, since his original was modified, as he said, these cards are new to Naruto. He has to come up with new strategies. After all, a whole new deck has its own set of rules, Alexis said, agreeing with Bastion. The question is, what type of deck is he using? Chumli said as he asked the million-dollar question of the day. And knowing his play style, it might be a whole new synchro deck, Bastion answered. Back to duel. I reveal this card in my hand, he said, revealing a card that shocked everyone. That's the Blue Eyes White Dragon, they yelled. Yes, the legendary Blue Eyes White Dragon. And my original deck, so that means father finished the final touches on the deck, he said as he smiled. However, the reason why I revealed it was to special summon this come forth Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, Attribute Light, LVL8, Dragon/Effect. Cannot be normal summoned/set. Must first be special summoned, from your hand, by revealing Blue Eyes White Dragon in your hand. You can only special summon Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon once per turn this way. This card's name becomes Blue Eyes White Dragon while it is on the field or in the graveyard. Once per turn, you can target one monster your opponent controls, destroy it. This card cannot attack the turn this effect is activated. ATK 3000/Def 2500. In attack mode, he said as unusual looking blue eyes appeared. But how? Asked Judai. You see, Blue Eyes Alternative can be special summoned so long as I reveal a Blue Eyes White Dragon from my hand. Also, it has a special ability for you see Judai-chan. Once per turn I can target one of my opponent's monsters and destroy it. So go Blue Eyes, destroy her. Stratos, he ordered his dragon. The dragon then shot a beam of white energy at Stratos, destroying it. Sidelines. Whoa. That was some effect, Chumley said, amazed of Blue Eyes Alternative's ability. Yes, however, it reveals what type of deck Naruto's running, and so far, he takes after his godfather, Bastion said. What do you mean? Cyrus asked. Because the three most powerful duelists have built their decks around these three monsters: Blue Eyes White Dragon, Dark Magician, and Red Eyes Black Dragon. And those three represent something that speaks volume, Bastion informed. You mean power, wisdom, and potential? Alexis asked. Yes, Bastion said. I'm kind of lost here. What do you mean? Cyrus asked. It goes like this. The blue eyes represent power and strength, something Kaiba strives for to be the best by using overwhelming power to dominate your opponent. The Dark Magician represent wisdom and knowledge, something Yugi has used during his career as a duelist because he knows that might will only get one so far until one's strength falters. Then lastly, the Red Eyes Black Dragon represents potential and will power, something that Joey Wheeler has shown during his duels in various tournaments, especially during his duel with Merrick in the Battle City semifinals. So they are the trinity of duel monsters, Bastion said, amazing the audience. Duel. You're lucky, because my dragon cannot attack on the turn it used its special ability, but my turn isn't over. Because now I activate the spell Dragon Shrine, normal spell. Send one dragon-type monster from your deck to the graveyard, then, if that monster in your graveyard is a dragon-type normal monster, you can send one more dragon-type monster from your deck to the graveyard. You can only activate one Dragon Shrine per turn. With this I can send any dragon monster from my deck to the graveyard, he said as he searched through his deck and pulled out a copy of Blue Eyes White Dragon and sent it to the graveyard. This action shocked everyone. Why would you send such a powerful monster to the graveyard? Judai asked, almost fearing the answer. Because if the monster I sent to the graveyard was a dragon-type normal monster, I can send one more dragon-type monster from your deck to the graveyard. So I'll send this, he said, revealing a new white dragon she has never seen before. But then again, this deck was new, so those cards no one outside of Naruto and his father had seen those cards. Naruto then shuffled his deck and continued with his duel. Now I normal summon Maiden with Eyes of Blue, Light Attribute, LVL1, Spellcaster/Tuner effect. When this card is targeted for an attack, you can negate the attack, and if you do, change the battle position of this card, then you can special summon one Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. During either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets this face-up card, you can special summon one Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. You can only use one Maiden with Eyes of Blue effect per turn, and only once that turn. ATK 0/Def 0. In attack mode, he said, summon a beautiful woman with white hair and blue eyes. The monster then looked around and noticed Naruto. The monster blushed before almost doing a Hinata-ai fainting, but the dragon next to her roared as if saying, keep your head in the game. Why did you summon her? No offense, but she has 0 attack and defense point. Judai asked. Sidelines. Judai does raise a good question. Why did he summon such a weak monster? Chumley asked. Then Chumley had to dodge a rock, scaring him. The others looked down and saw that Naruto was glaring at them as if saying, call my monster weak again, I won't miss. Getting the message, they nodded. Duel. Judai. Never underestimate a monster no matter the strength, because she is probably the strongest monster in my deck. But I'll tell you later. But for now I activate Soul Charge, normal spell. Target any number of monsters in your graveyard. Special summon them, and if you do, you lose 1000 LP for each monster special summoned by this effect. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this card. You can only activate one soul charge per turn. And by paying 2000 life points I can bring back the 2 monsters from my graveyard. However, they can't conduct their battle, but a small price to pay, so come back Blue Eyes White Dragon, Light Attribute, LVL8 Dragon. This legendary dragon is a powerful engine of destruction. Virtually invincible, very few have faced this awesome creature and lived to tell the tale. ATK 3000/Def 2500, and Dragon Spirit of White, Light Attribute, LVL8 Dragon/Effect. This card is always treated as a Blue Eyes card. This card is treated as a normal monster while in the hand or graveyard. When this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one spell/trap card your opponent controls, banish it. During either player's turn, if your opponent controls a monster, you contribute this card, special summon one Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand. ATK 2500/Def 2000, he said as 2 white dragons erupted from the ground, both letting out a mighty roar, scaring Judai because now she knew that Naruto was a duelist to be both respected and feared. Judai, 4000. Naruto, 4000 minus 2000 is equal to 2000. Now I activate Dragon Spirit of White's special ability for you. See, I can target one spell or trap card you control and banish it, so go Dragon Spirit. Banishing Roar, Naruto ordered. The weaker dragon then unleashed a powerful roar and sent Judai's face down back to her hand, thus clearing her field. Now Judai knew she was in big trouble. She has nothing to defend with, and now she has 3 powerful dragons staring down at her, wait for the opportunity to blast her. But due to the effects of soul charge she was safe for now, but knowing Naruto that wouldn't be a liability. Judai, just so you know, Maiden is a tuner monster, he said, surprising everyone. So now you know the severity for underestimating her. Now I tune my level 1 Maiden with my level 8 Dragon Spirit of White and Synchro Summon, he said as Maiden became a single green ring and Dragon Spirit became 8 stars. O great Spirit of White, reveal yourself and unleash your power. Synchro Summon Spirit of Eyes of Blue, Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, Light Attribute, LVL9, Dragon/Synchro/Effect. 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner Blue Eyes monsters. Either player can special summon 2 or more monsters at the same time. Once per turn, during either player's turn, when an effect of a card in the graveyard is activated, you can negate the activation. During either player's turn, you contribute this Synchro Summon card, special summon 1 Light Dragon type Synchro monster from your extra deck in defense position, except Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, but destroy it during the end phase of this turn. ATK 2500/Def 3000, in defense mode, he said, summoning a dragon that was quite literally ghostly white, hence the name. Sidelines. A new Synchro monster, and just like Shuren, that monster is dedicated to the Blue Eyes archetype. Definitely a troubling monster, Bastion said. I know what you mean, but still to face off against that deck is a frightening thought, said Alexis, as she watched as her harem sister faced off against their boyfriend's monsters. I activate the spell card trade-in, normal spell, discard 1 level 8 monster, draw 2 cards, and discard the Blue Eyes in my hand to draw 2, Naruto said as he then discarded his Blue Eyes and drew 2 new cards. Then I activate the spell cards of Consonance, normal spell, discard 1 dragon-type tuner monster with 1000 or less ATK, draw 2 cards, and send the White Stone of Ancients, a dragon tuner monster, from my hand to the graveyard and draw for 2, he said as he sent the tuner monster to the graveyard and drew for 2. Now I activate Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon's ability and send it to the graveyard to special summon 1 Light Dragon type Synchro monster from my extra deck in defense position, except, however, I have to destroy it during the end phase of this turn, but it won't matter, so come forth Azure Eyes Silver Dragon, Light Attribute, LVL9. Dragon/Synchro/Effect. 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner normal monsters. If this card is special summoned, dragon-type monsters you currently control cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects until the end of the next turn. Once per turn, during your standby phase, you can target 1 normal monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. ATK 2500/Def 3000, in defense mode, he said. A spirit dragon was replaced by a silver dragon with deep blue eyes. Sidelines. Now that is a powerful ability. Pitching one powerful extra deck monster for another has a lot of advantages because whatever the new card can do will stop whatever your opponent was planning, Alexis said. Yes, which is quite troubling to say the least, Bastion said, fearing the prospect of ever facing off against that deck. Yeah, no kidding, I mean that is Naruto's first turn, and look at his field. His godfather would be dancing with joy just from the sheer sight of seeing his prized card used effectively. Cyrus added, getting nods from the rest of the group. Duel. Judai. I'm sorry, but I'm ending this first. I activate Return of the Dragon Lords, normal spell. Target one level 7 or 8 dragon-type monster in your graveyard, special summon it. If a dragon-type monsters you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead, and bring back Blue Eyes White Dragon, Naruto said as his discarded blue eyes erupts from the ground, giving a mighty roar. Then I activate Silver's Cry, quick play spell. Target one dragon-type normal monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. You can only activate one Silver's Cry per turn, and bring back Dragon Spirit of White, and just so you know, Spirit of White is treated as a normal monster while in the hand or graveyard, so he was a valid target for my spell card, he informed as the dragon came forth. And like I said, this duel is over. Go Blues and Spirit of White attack her directly, he ordered his 2 dragons. They opened their mouths and unleashed 2 powerful beams of white. 3,000 plus 2,500 is equal to 5,500. 5,500 minus 4,000 is equal to minus 1,400. Judai. 4,000 to 5,500 equals minus 1,400. Naruto. 2,000, winner. Naruto gave his trademark grin. That was an awesome duel, Judai-chan, Naruto said. Judai nodded. Even though it was completely one-sided, she asked. Naruto then looked at his deck. Sorry about, but seeing my old again got me excited, and with these new cards I just had to show off, Naruto said. You know, Judai-chan, I have to ask? Why didn't you use the new fusion monsters I gave you? Naruto asked, wondering as to why Judai didn't summon any of the new e-hero fusion monsters. This also got the attention of everyone who was listening and wonder what new fusions has she gotten, and why she didn't summon any of them. Judai sweat a bit, and rubbed the back of her head nervously. WLUC. I forgot them, she said. Everyone face faulted with sweat dropped at her response. Naruto was the first to recover. You forgot them? He yelled, doing his impression of Iraka's giant head no jutsu with tick marks on his forehead. I'm sorry, Naruto-kun, we left in such a rush and I didn't realize until after I had summoned Stratos that I had forgotten to bring the new fusions, she said honestly. Naruto pinched the bridge of his nose to stem the headache he was having at the moment. He sighed. Alright, I'll forgive, but please don't forget them next time, because those monsters haven't seen any action in a little over 7 years, so it'll be a huge relief for them to finally be able to fight along someone who'd use them in a duel, Naruto said as the sideline group recovered and joined the 2. Go advice. It'll be a huge blow to the both of you if Judai forgot those cards on the day of your exhibition match, Bastion said. I know, and I'm sorry. Okay, I wanted to try out my new deck, Judai said, but was cut off by Alexis. We all know, Judai, but please be mindful, and besides, after your match I'd love to challenge you to a duel, she said, facing Judai, her rival in both dueling and Naruto's affection, although she did agree to do the harem thing with serenity when Naruto called her to introduce them. Well, whoever they bring will take them down, Naruto said with a confident smile. Same here, Judai said as she jumped her boyfriend, only for Alexis to do the same. A week has passed since both Naruto and Judai agreed to partake in an exhibition match. Within the week, Judai had challenged Zane Truesdale, the top student in the Obelisk Blue Dorm, to see if she's ready to take on whatever Dr. Growler threw at them. She lost, of course, but she did put up a good fight, right before Zane played his end game, which was a Power Bond and Cyber End Dragon combo. Ingenious, but also dangerous if misplayed, but Zane played his cards right and came out victorious. Another thing that happened was Chumley's father came to Duel Academy to take Chumley back to the mainland so that he can carry on the family business of making hot sauce. But Judai and Cyrus decided to help Chumley with his deck to get him ready to duel his father for his right to stay in Duel Academy. Naruto provided some cards to help with Chumley's deck build. The next day the duel accrued, but even with the new cards he lost the duel, but his father allowed him to stay since he had found friends who'd stick by him no matter what. Now came the time for the exhibition match. As a bunch of Slifer-Red students were conversing in the halls of the academy laughing and having a good time, but that was interrupted by a fuming Dr. Growler. Why must this dual academia for the elite accept these dropout boys? Especially those two punks, Judai and Naruto, Growler thought with a sneer. On top of that, I can't expel those two or the other Slifer rejects because of that pardon for Sito Kaiba, the thought. Only expulsion awaits people like that. He yelled, making the Slifer students look at him as if he was crazy, but not wanting to become the object of the teacher's rage, they entered the room rather quickly. Growler then grinned. If I can't expel those two, then the duel will humiliate them so bad that they'll quit Duel Academy for good, he said to himself. Hey Professor, a voice said, getting his attention. Growler turns around and sees Chaz Princeton coming up to him. What is it you want, Chaz? Growler asked. Please allow me to duel in Naruto and Judai's tag duel, Chaz demanded. Allow you? Growler questioned. This time I'll lay waste to both her and her boyfriend with my own hands, Chaz explained. That shall not be necessary, Chaz, he said, getting an odd look from the obelisk student. I've already invited some powerful duelists that aptly suited for the tag duel. Moreover, you should be more concerned about yourself. At the rate you're at, you'll drop down to RA yellow, Growler said as he walked away, getting a shocked look from Chaz. Chaz then scowled at the teacher. RA dorm. In the RA dorm, Naruto and Judai were doing some last-minute preparations with their decks ready for today's tag team exhibition match to whomever was selected for today's duel. In the room, Alexis, Cyrus, and Chumlee were helping with whatever was needed for the duel. It's finally the day, huh? Asked Chumlee, who was sitting on Naruto's bed. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, aren't you, Naruto-kun? Judai asked her boyfriend. Yeah, I'm psyched and I can't wait to unleash the last of the three, Naruto said, getting everyone's attention. Wait, you mean you're going to summon? Alexis said before being cut off by Naruto, who then revealed the card he was talking about. The Winged Dragon of RA. It's only fair since I've already summoned the other two, Slifer during the promotion match and Obelisk during my duel against Titan, so RA gets a turn, he said, getting the monster's spirit a nod of approval. I can't wait to see the strongest of the three in action. What about you, Cyrus? Judai asked, pumped and ready to see the last of the three god monsters in a duel. You bet, Cyrus said. Hey, just so you know, this match is going to be broadcasted thanks to Kaiba, so be sure to duel your hardest, Alexis said, reminding the two duelists of the last-minute setting for the duel that Kaiba put together. Naruto then grinned. All the more reason not to lose, he said, getting a nod from Judai. Let's go, Naruto-kun, Judai said as she put her deck away and walked to the door. Alright guys, wish us luck, Naruto said as he followed Judai out the door. 30 minutes later. The duel arena was packed with spectators all here to see the tag team exhibition match between Naruto Pegasus and Judai Yuki versus whoever was called in. Among the crowd, Bastion waited eagerly for the match to start. So it begins at last, he said to himself with a serious tone as he folded his arms in front of his chest. The tag duel, a feminine voice said, getting his attention. Judai may have said she had never been in one before. Naruto, on the other hand, has some experience, so with him on Judai's side she'll be able to catch up on the rules, Alexis said as she sat down along with Chumlee and Cyrus. You're Alexis Rhodes from Obelisk Blue, the one who's seen around Naruto and Judai, and you must be their friends, Cyrus Trustdale and Chumlee Huffington, Bastion said. It seems you've a somewhat connection to Naruto-kun and Judai-san as well, Alexis said. Oh, it's you again from when we started Duel Academy, Cyrus said. Right to both your statements, Bastion said, turning back to face the duel. It's my fault that they're in this position, but lucky this duel isn't about them being expelled now, it's to see if duelists from this academy are ready for whatever comes our way, she said, getting a nod from Bastion. I wonder who they called in for the match? Cyrus asked. Most likely professionals if the rumors are anything to go by, Bastion said, answering Cyrus's question. In another part of the arena, Chaz sat down with a scowl on his face, knowing that he won't be dueling against Judai and Naruto. Then he noticed Naruto and Judai walking together onto the dueling ring. He then kicks one of the chairs in frustration, getting Reisa's and Taiyo's attention. Wow! It sure is packed, Naruto-kun, and look, cameras, looks like Kaiba pulled through with his promise of this being broadcasted all over the world, Judai said with amazement. If there's one thing I know about my koifu is that if he makes a promise or statement he's going to do it, because in his words, screw the rules, I have money, he said, making Judai laugh of what his godfather would say in this situation. As the two walked towards the stadium, chest seethed with hatred towards female former Slifer duelist that beat him in the promotion match, Judai Yuki. I want to crush that bitch with my own bare hands, he said to himself. Naruto and Judai looked around the crowd and saw that Alexis, Cyrus, and Chumli had made it, and they were sitting next to Bastion. The two waved at the group, and in turn they waved back. As they made their way to their side of the ring, Zane stared at the two. Naruto-san. Judai-san, let's see if your dueling skills are enough for today's match, he thought as he looked on, waiting for the duel to begin. Well then, we will begin this exhibition tag duel, Growler announced. So, will they be facing a teacher or an Obelisk Blue student, or could you be the one dealing with things again? Asked Chancellor Shepard. Not quite. We're having this duel to show what our students fare against those who have outside experience, and their opponents must be duelists appropriate for that task, the doctor said, answering his boss. HM. Then Shepard said with stars in his eyes. In order to provide the appropriate challenge, I've invited some legendary duelists, Growler said. Then from behind the duo, two figures twirled over them. What? Judai said. The green and orange blurs Summer saluted until they were on the other side of the dueling arena. This caught everyone's attention. Then they flipped and landed behind them. As they stood up, both Naruto and Judai got a good look at the two individuals. They wore similar clothing except one wore green and the other wore orange. They had bald heads and Chinese characters on their foreheads, one red para and the other red dots. Naruto got a good look at them and smiled. We are the roaming guards, the orange-clad man said. The Paradox Brothers, the green man said. Whoa, is this a Hong Kong movie? Judai asked. No, Judai, they're Para and Dox, also known as the Paradox Brothers. They dueled against my god brother during the Duelist Kingdom tournament, where Yugi was crowned king of games. Naruto informed Judai of who they are. Wow, how do you know them? She asked. Pegasus did hire them to be the guardians of the secret path to the castle, and they were my mentors in learning how to tag duel, he said as he went to greet his former teachers. Wow, Naruto-kun, you must have some good connections, being Seto Kaiba's godson, Yugi Moto's godbrother, Pegasus's son, Joey Wheeler's future brother-in-law, and now a former student of the Paradox Brothers. What's next? She asked. Naruto smiled at her. All in due time, Judai-chan, he said before going to greet the Paradox Brothers. As he approached them, they recognized him. Brother, is that? Para asked. It is, Dox said. Young Naruto Pegasus, they said in unison. Para Jiaoshur, Dox Jiaoshur, it's good to see you again, Naruto said as he bowed. And Jiaoshur means teacher in traditional Chinese. The Paradox Brothers bowed as well. Naruto Shueshing, and Shueshing means student in traditional Chinese. It is good to see you again as well, they said. So the two of you being here means that you're our opponents for today's exhibition match, Naruto stated. Of course, Shueshing, think of this as our graduation exam, Para said. With you beating us being the goal of this test, Dox followed. Duelist Kingdom. On the island of Duelist Kingdom inside Pegasus's castle, the creator himself sat in front of a very large plasma screen TV to watch the duel. On the sofa next to his chair sat Yugi Moto, Solomon Moto, T. Gardner, Tristan Taylor, Joey Wheeler, Serenity Wheeler, Mai Valentine, Merrick Ishtar, Ishizu Ishtar, Odian Ishtar, Makuba Kaiba and Seto Kaiba. All were invited by Pegasus to see the match at his castle. Oh my Kaiba boy, you really pulled out all the stops to make this duel go public, especially since it's your godson who's dueling, the creator said as he twirled this cup of wine. Well, I wanted to show the world that Duel Academy can produce top-tier duelists who can adapt to any situation and to any challenge set before them, Seto said in his usual monotone, while his arms were folded. Though, do you find it strange that Naruto-kun and Judai-san were the only ones to take part in this match? T asked. What do you mean? Yugi asked. It's almost as if someone has a vendetta against Naruto, and those who he's associated with, he said, making Kaiba look at her. Well, if someone does have a grudge against my godson, then they'll be answering to me, he said with a serious tone. Don't forget me, my god brother may be no pushover, but I'll defend him no matter what, Yugi said with a determined voice. The kid's gonna be my family someday, so as his future in-law I must stick by him, Joey said, making both serenity and my giggle at their brother/boyfriend remark. If you're saying that you'll protect him, then that's not saying much since you can barely defend yourself, Kaiba said, taking a shoot at the blonde. Joey seethed at Kaiba's remark, while everyone else was either chuckling or holding Joey back from attacking Sito. Also, this will be a good opportunity to see if he can truly summon the third Egyptian god card, since he had already summoned both Slifer and Obelisk in previous duels, Kaiba said, getting everyone's attention, saying Yugi, since he could sense when the cards are played, and Serenity because either her fiancé or his other girlfriends would inform her of his progress whenever they could. Wait, are you saying that this child has all 3 cards in his deck and has already summoned 2 of the 3 and is going to summon the strongest of the 3, remarked Merrick as he tried to fathom just how powerful this child could be to withstand the power of an Egyptian god monster without the need of a millennium item or ancestor from ancient times in Egypt. Amazing that such a child is able to command the great beasts and not lose himself, as Shizu said, truly amazed of the boy's power. The group watched as Naruto and Judai walked onto the arena, then they saw 2 blurs, an orange blur and green blur. Oh my, it would seem that those 2 are to be their opponents, Pegasus said, getting everyone's attention. Who? Asked Yugi. You'll see, was all Pegasus said as he looked to the screen, the blurs revealing themselves to be Para and Dox. Both Yugi and Joey were surprised to see those 2 again, also, that they were to be Naruto and Judai's opponents for the exhibition match. I believe you may be right about someone holding a grudge against those 2 because those 2 are dueling legends and both me and Joey had a hard time winning against them, Yugi said, getting a nod from Joey, agreeing with what Yugi was saying, for he remembered how hard it was to duel those 2. I'll look into who may or may not have a vendetta against my godson, but I have a suspicion who it may be, Kaiba said, narrowing his eyes at the screen. Well, we can't do anything about it now, bro. So let's see if Naruto and I can handle those 2, Makuba said, rooting from his brother figure to win. Everyone agreed to Makuba's suggestion and turned to the TV. Duel Academy Arena/stands. As the duelists walked to their respective sides, everyone was either shocked or horrified at the opponents chosen to duel against Naruto and Judai. However, a few were happy to see the 2 RA students get beaten by these 2 legendary duelists. I've heard about them. They're the sibling duelists who gave the king of games a hard time with their invincible combinations, said Alexis, now concerned for her boyfriend and harem sister. Those 2 have a slim chance against opponents like that, Bastion said with a worried tone to his voice. Both Cyrus and Chumli prayed for their friend's victory. Chaz was grinning, hoping to see both Judai and Naruto suffer a humiliating defeat. This is excellent. Suffer an unsightly defeat in front of not only everyone here, but everyone who's watching this duel, Judai, Yuki, Naruto, Pegasus, the Princeton heir said. Zane merely looked on, but was concerned for his rival's chances of defeating such experienced opponents. We hold no grudge to thee, but, Para said. We're locked in battle for reasons of our own, Dox said. If you cannot defeat us, said Para, your path will remain blocked, said Dox. Now come and fight us, they said in union. Growler chuckled until he heard a voice from behind him. This is quite the drastic measure, the voice said, getting his attention, revealing it to be Chancellor Shepard, who looked somewhat crossed, but amazed to see the legendary tag team. It's them, it's really them, he said with amazement. Growler trying to save face, but principle, they broke a very important rule and needed to be punished, he said, until he received a glare from Shepard which scared him. They were pardoned by Sito Kaiba himself, or have you forgotten? The principal asked, making the feminine male sweat like crazy. Chancellor, it's fine, Naruto said, getting his dual disc ready. Are you sure? The chubby man asked. Naruto nodded. I was hoping to face them in the future, but better now than later, so let's get this started, Naruto said with determination, with Judai agreeing with her boyfriend. Very well, Growler, proceed, and when this duel is over I want to see you in my office, he said, giving Growler a stern look which made the man pale. And now both sides get into position. Growler said, getting cheers from everyone in the audience, and cheers from everyone who's watching the duel. Naruto turned to Judai, was shaking a bit. Judai-chan, remember, just see this as another duel and not as an exhibition match. Also, please tell me you brought the cards with you, he said, remembering what happened the last time they dueled. Judai smiled and nodded her head for both his question and his words of confidence. You cannot give advice to your tag partner. Also, you can treat your partner's field as your own field. Understand? Growler said as he told the rules of the match. Each tag team will share 8,000 life points. So then duel, Growler said as he ran off the field. Duel, the duelist said. Naruto and Judai, 8,000. Para and Dox, 8,000. Naruto drew his cards and noticed that he didn't have his synchro combo in his hand, so he decided to go with it. I'll start off with activate 2 spell cards, Shuren's Smoke Signal, which allows me to search out a 6 samurai monster whose level is 3 or lower, and 6 samurai united, he said as he searched through his deck for a monster as per Smoke Signal's effect. Then he reshuffled his deck and started. Next I summon legendary 6 samurai Kageki, 200/2000, and I activate his special ability. You see, when this card is normal summoned, I can special summon one level 4 or lower 6 samurai monster from my hand, also while I control a face-up 6 samurai monster with a different name. This card gains 1500 ATK. So I special summon legendary 6 samurai Shurnai, level 3, attribute water, warrior/effect, attack, 1500/defense, 1500. If you control a face-up legendary 6 samurai Mizuho, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is tribute, select one 6 samurai monster in your graveyard, and add it to your hand, except legendary 6 samurai Shurnai. In attack mode, and I activate 6 samurai united's effect, and send it to the graveyard to draw 2 cards, Naruto said as he placed the spell card into the discard pile and drew 2 new cards. Now I activate Gateway of the 6th and Shurnai's effect and special summon Mizuho, 1600 out of 1000, from my hand, he said as he summoned the red armored samurai, who then looked to her brother. It's nice to see you out, Oniai-san, Mizuho said, getting a nod from the blue armored warrior. Next I'll play 2 cards face down and end my turn, he said, ending his turn. Naruto's field, Mizuho dash, 1600/1000, Shurnai dash, 1500/1500, Kageki dash, 1700/2000, Gateway of the 6 plus 2 face downs. Para then decided to go next. It's my turn. Draw, he said as he drew his card. I summon Jiraiya, level 4, attribute, earth, insect/effect, ATK, 2200/def, 100. When this monster declares an attack, toss a coin and call it. If you call wrong, lose half your life points. In attack mode, he said, summoning a giant spider. Para's field, Jiraiya dash, 2200/100. Then Judai went next. My turn. Draw, she said as she drew her card. I summon Elemental Hero Lady Heat, level 4, attribute fire, pyro/effect, ATK, 1300/def, 1000. During each of your end phases, inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each face-up elemental hero monster you control. In defense mode, she said. Judai's field E. Hero Lady Heat dash, 1300/1000. However, before Dox could start his turn, he felt a burning sensation and saw his life point meter dropped by 200 points. Before he could say anything, Judai answered, sorry, but that was Lady Heat's ability. For you see, for every E hero I control while Heat is on the field, I can inflict 200 damage during my end phase, so that is why you lost 200 life points, Judai said, getting cheers from the crowd for their classmates getting first blood. Naruto and Judai, 8,000. Para and Dox, 7,800. Dox merely nodded and started his turn. It's my turn. Draw, he said, drawing his next card. I summon Kaiser Seahorse, level 4, attribute light, sea serpent/effect, ATK, 1700/def, 1650. This card can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a light monster, in attack mode. He said, summoning a warrior sea monster. The moment Naruto laid eyes on that card, it clicked, damn, if one of those 2 uses that seahorse, it'll be trouble since I know what they're going for. I have to stop it before they summon that, Naruto thought as he planned to get rid of the Kaiser Seahorse. However, his train of thought was interrupted when Doc spoke. I activate a spell card Tribute Doll, Tribute 1 monster, special summon 1 level 7 monster from your hand that can be normal summoned or set summoned. It cannot attack this turn. This card activates by sacrificing 1 monster on my field, he said, nodding to his brother, who nodded back. Naruto felt a sense of dread and hoped he wasn't right, but that's wishful thinking on his part. I used Jirai Gumo as a sacrifice to summon to special summons a level 7 monster from my hand. Come forth. Lord of the Wind Kazujin, level 7, attribute Wind, spellcaster / effect, ATK, 2400 / def, 2200. During damage calculation in your opponent's turn, if this card is being attacked, you can target the attacking monster. Make that target's ATK 0 during damage calculation only. This is a quick effect. This effect can only be used once while this card is face up on the field. In attack mode, he said, summoning a large green monster with arms and a large round body. Naruto in his mind cursed, hoping to stop this, but then realized his face down. Naruto smirked. Sorry, Docs, but I'm afraid that oversized hot air balloon has overstayed its welcome. I activate my face down card Bottomless Trap Hole, he said, getting shocked looks from his former mentors. Then the ground underneath Kazujin opened up and sucked the monster, and only to close up, leaving no trace of said monster. Naruto laughed. Sorry, but I couldn't let you go through with your combo, so here's the wrench to your plan. By using Bottomless Trap Hole, any monster whose attack is 2000 or higher is removed from play. So Kazujin goes bye-bye, he said, getting cheers from the crowd. Duelist Kingdom, Pegasus Castle. The spectators watched as the duel unfolded. Pegasus was quite surprised at the cards used by Judaio, so that's why Naruto boy had me send over his old elemental hero deck, so he could give it to someone who can both love and appreciate the deck's overall flow, Pegasus said with cheer. I know what you mean. Naruto has a unique way of sensing how someone plays their deck and see if he could help by improving the current deck or help find new ways to use what is currently in use, Yugi said, amazed with how things were turning out. Then they saw Doc summon Kazujin, which made Yugi and Joey wide-eyed. If they don't stop them there, then they're in for, he said, but was cut off when a large hole appeared under the monster and sucked it in. Then they heard what Naruto said and everyone started laughing. Never mind then, said Joey, now relieved that Naruto doesn't have to face the Gate Guardian like they did. Thought Yugi was a bit suspicious. Duel Academy Arena / stands. He used his partner's monster as a tribute to call out a powerful monster, Bastion said. This kind of cooperation on the first turn. Simply amazing. But it's a relief that Naruto-kun had that face down, Alexis said, relieved that Naruto and Judai didn't have to face such a powerful monster. Cyrus and Chumley were thinking the same thing as Alexis. Zane smirked at how Naruto took control of the playing field by removing a potential threat from the game altogether. I'm sorry, brother, I didn't anticipate such a trap to have been played. Our student has learned well, Doc said with a hint of pride for his former pupil. It's quite alright, brother. But please do be careful, we mustn't underestimate either Naruto or his partner, Para said. I activate Dark Designator, declare 1 monster name. If the declared card is in your opponent's deck, add 1 of that card to your opponent's hand, Doc said, activating his spell card. If a monster that I designate is in my opponent's deck, this card can add this card to my opponent's hand, he said, making both Naruto and Judai a bit nervous. And I designate the Thunder Lord Senga, he said, pointing to Para. Para then laughed. I thank you. Naturally, I have a Senga in my deck, he said, going through his deck and finding what he needed. Naruto was calm outward, but on the inside he was cursing his luck with such a colorful vocabulary that he'll make sailors look like Sunday school girl. Now it's time for the real duel to begin, the brother said in unison. While they summon a powerful monster on their first turn, thank Naruto-kun, she said, thanking her boyfriend from removing the behemoth off the field. Don't thank me just yet, Judai-chan, Naruto said, getting her attention. What do you mean? She asked. Remember what Para said when he went to retrieve the Senga card? He asked. Mini flashback. Para then laughed. I thank you. Naturally, I have a Senga in my deck, he said, going through his deck and finding what he needed. Mini flashback, Kai. Then it hit her. Why, you don't mean? She stuttered. Yes, each of them has a set of those cards to make Gate Guardian, so that's 5 cards left, meaning 2 Suijin, 2 Senga, and 1 Kazujin, so be ready Jidai-chan, Naruto said, getting ready for his turn. Docks Field, Kaiser Seahorse 1700/1650. My turn. Drawl, Naruto said as he drew his next card, and go wide-eye at the card. The Winged Dragon of Ra. To draw you this early must mean you really want to come out to play, he thought before smirking. This caught the brother's attention. Oh, and what are you smiling about? Asked Para. I just drew the one card that turned this duel completely one-sided, he said, making everyone look at him. However, but first I need to set the field, so I'll activate Pot of Greed and draw 2 cards. He drew the 2 cards. Then I special summon both legendary 6 Samurai Kazan, 1800/500, and Grand Master of the 6, 2100/800, in attack mode, Naruto said, summoning his warrior monsters. Now I activate Kazan's effect for you. See if I control 2 or more other face-up 6 samurai monsters. This card gains 300 ATK in DF, so my Kazan gets stronger, he said. Kazan, ATK 1800 plus 300 is equal to 2100 def, 500 plus 300 is equal to 800. Kazan, 2100/800. Now the stage is set to summon the most powerful card in my entire deck, he said as he picked the card and held it into the air as it starts to glow. Everyone was awed at what he meant by that. I sacrifice Grandmaster, Kazan and Kageki to summon the all-power Winged Dragon of Ra, he said as he slapped the card onto his dual disc. Grandmaster, 2100/800, plus Kazan, 2100/800, plus Kageki, 1700/2000, equals the Winged Dragon of Ra, 5900/3600. What? Everyone yelled as a beam of light erupted behind Naruto. When the light faded, a giant golden ball was revealed floating just above Naruto. At first there was silence, but then there was laughter coming from the obelisk blue students, thinking that the RA student had summoned the great beast, but all he got was a giant glowing disco ball. However, those who paid attention in class knew that RA was so powerful that upon being summoned it sealed until the chant was said to release it from its own prison, and the only one who knew were Merrick, the original holder of the card, and Yugi Moto, who acquired the card in the Battle City Finals. Naruto brought his arms in a cross and started to speak. Almighty protector of the sun and sky, I beg of thee, please heed my cry. He started to speak the chant. As he did, the orb started to morph into the great beast. Transform thyself from orb of light, and bring me victory in this fight, he said as the orb took more of the appearance of its released form. And beseech thee grace our humble game, but first I shall call out thy name, he said as the orb erupted into a mighty flash of light, blinding everyone. Winged Dragon of Ra, he cried out as he spread his arms out, and from the light a mighty roar was heard. As the light faded, and everyone getting their vision back only to see a giant golden dragon looming over Naruto. The RA Yellow students were starstruck to see their dorm mascot in all its glory. Duelist Kingdom, Pegasus Castle. Everyone was shocked that on his second turn he had summoned the most powerful of the 3 god monsters. Merrick especially was both awed and shocked, before he felt a ting of pride to see his former partner in action again. Yugi, you got to tell me when you decide to go to Academy Island. I want to meet this boy, the young Ishtar said, getting a nod from Yugi and a smile from both his adopted brother and sister, happy to see Merrick wanting to make friends with the young blonde on screen. I'm pretty sure he'd challenge you to a duel, so be sure to have your deck on hand, Yugi said, getting a nod from Merrick. Oh yeah, now this duel has completely become one-sided. Kind of feel sorry for the brothers, Tristan said, with everyone agreeing with him. Duel Academy Arena/stands. The brothers were completely terrified because not only did their former student summon an Egyptian god monster, but Para was completely vulnerable to a direct attack should Naruto target him. Naruto stared at the mighty beast, and the creature looked at its summoner and nodded, saying it was ready to fight. Alright, let's see how much damage we can do. Go Winged Dragon of Ra, attack Para directly with Solar Flare Blast, Naruto commanded the golden dragon. The ring on the creature's back started to glow, then form a miniature sun on its back, only for it to be absorbed at its mouth and fired at Para, who was too shocked to even move. Para took the blast head on, and the attack made an explosion upon impact. Naruto and Judai, 8,000. Para and Dax, 7,800 minus 5,900 is equal to 1,900, Para defeated. When the smoke cleared, Para was face up on the ground unconscious and Dax was completely terrified of the power the creature before him had. But from the look of his former student it was far from over. Dax, I'm calling it in. Final turn, he said, getting everyone's attention, especially Judai's. Now I pay 1,000 life point to activate Ra's ability for you. See by pay the amount. RA can destroy one monster on the field and I choose your Kaiser Seahorse as the target, he said, pointing to Dax's monster only for it to receive a miniature sun through the gut, thus destroying it. Now to end this duel. Go Shurnai. Mizuho attack him directly, he said, ordering his 2 warrior monster to finish him off. The 2 monsters appeared in front of Dax and unleashed their weapons upon him. Naruto and Judai, 8,000. Para and Dax, 1,900 minus 1,700 minus 1,500 is equal to 0. Winners, Naruto and Judai. The duel ended with Naruto and Judai as the victors. The entire student body cheered to see 2 of their classmates not only take 1 professional duelists, but come out victorious. Growler scowled that those 2 had won their duel, but was replaced with a nervous look when he felt a rather large hand on his shoulder, and he looked to see Chancellor Shepard, which reminded him that he was to go to his office to discuss what just transpired. Up in the stands, Cyrus and Chumlee cheered for their friend's victory, while Alexis and Bastion smiled at Naruto and Judai for managing to defeat 2 powerful duelists. Also for Naruto to summoning his dorm's mascot. No doubt both Slifer and RA dorms have a newfound respect for the heir of Pegasus. Zane smiled and left the arena without saying a word. Chaz was seething at the 2 for defeating the Paradox brothers and not suffered the humiliating defeat he wished for them. Duelist Kingdom, Pegasus Castle. Everyone was shocked to see how the duel ended. Although Sito knew how Naruto played from the data he receives from the principal and has come up with the conclusion that Naruto's overall play style is to overwhelm his opponent with sheer numbers, or control the field long enough to OTK his opponent. However, to summon the winged dragon of RA on his second turn was an incredible feat that Merrick was both in awe and shock. Now I can't wait to duel him, Merrick said, trying to hold his excitement. Ishizu looked at her brother with a soft smile because their father robbed him of his childhood, and when his dark side manifested, he was too preoccupied with taking over the world then to have fun like a normal child would. So this was his way of expressing his desire to make new friends. Be careful, Merrick and Naruto-san looks like a formidable opponent, and with the heart of the cards at his side he might just be the strongest duelist next to Yugi-san you may ever face, she said, warning her brother. Merrick laughed. I know, sister, I'll be sure to be ready, he said, keeping his smile. I'll help with your deck preparations then, and Odion said, offering to help his little brother. Okay, Odion. Once we get back we'll work on my deck together, Merrick responded to his older brother. You can come by the shop and pick up some cards before you leave, Yugi offered. Thanks, Yugi, Merrick said. Like your sister said, be careful because he was trained by everyone here, Pegasus said with a somewhat serious tone which got the Ishtar's attention, especially Merrick, who was wide-eyed at the thought of Naruto being trained by the like of Maximilian Pegasus, Yugi Moto, Sito Kaiba and Joey Wheeler, 4 of the best duelists in their own right. Just the thought of the Pegasus heir being on equal foot with these 4 dueling titans was a frightening thought. Duel Academy Arena/stands. Naruto and Judai approached the brothers as Dax was helping his brother up. Para. Dax, I'm sorry for taking it too far. I didn't mean to get you hurt, he said, feeling ashamed of harming his former master. Para smiled. It is of no concern, young grasshopper, he said. You passed our test with flying colors, so you're now the master of tag dueling, he said. We look forward to your future exploits, they said in unison, making Naruto and Judai laugh at the brother way of finishing each other's sentences. Then I promise to not let you down or let your teachings go to waste, Naruto said as he bowed. Then the brothers bowed and started to leave. Naruto and Judai watched as the brother left the arena as Alexis, Cyrus, Chumlee, and Bastion joined them on the field. That was an awesome performance, bro, Cyrus said with his usual excited voice. Totally licious, said Chumlee. A fitting end if I do say so myself, and to win by using our dorm mascot. Truly you honor us, Bastion said, still excited having seen his second god monster, and the winged dragon of RA was definitely a real once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Naruto-kun, as always you otk your opponent, said Alexis, not surprised how quickly the duel lasted. Hey, it was either ended now, or have them summon the Gate Guardian, and just so you know this deck can't get over that unless it's with the help of my god cards, Naruto admitted to his deck's glaring flaw. It can swarm the field, but it can't get over stronger monsters, so it has support cards to cover that weakness. But once those cards were used up, then it's a matter of preventing the swarm capability, then you pretty much shut the deck down. That was an excellent duel, Shepard said as he approached the group. Thank you, Chancellor, though I hope it wasn't too quick? He asked, worried if he should have dragged it on to show off Judai's new cards. It's alright, at least this duel proved that there are indeed powerful young duelists here at the Academy, and who knows, maybe we'll be receiving a new batch of potential duelists, he said with eye smiles. Glad to have shown our Academy's potential of producing top-tier duelists, Chancellor, Naruto said before the man left the arena with a shivering growler in tow. Most likely to get reprimanded for trying and failing to either expel or humiliate the students that came to Duel Academy, mostly towards those who wear or once wore Slifer Red. RA dorm, Naruto and Judai's room. Once the duel was over, the group went back to Naruto/Judai's dorm room to celebrate their victory. It started as a nice get-together with Bastion thanking him for summoning RA and supporting their dorm. Chumli brought his homemade shish kebabs topped with his father's famous hot sauce. Apparently only Naruto and Chumli were the only ones who could eat them because they were too hot. About an hour in, a very tired Chumli carried a sleeping Cyrus back to the Slifer dorm, while Bastion decided to return to his dorm room, leaving Naruto, Judai and Alexis alone. Naruto, deciding to start heading to bed, was told to wait by Judai, who dragged Alexis to the bathroom, leaving Naruto alone in the room. So he decided to change into his sleepwear, which consisted of only the RA yellow sweatpants, leaving his upper half naked. As Naruto got into bed, he heard the door to the bathroom open, only to see something that made his face glow a crimson red. Judai and Alexis in red and black sexy ladies' lace lingerie, nightwear, underwear, sleepwear, dress, G-string. The two girls stalked to their boyfriend and were on either side, Alexis on his left and Judai on his right. They dragged him into bed and laid their heads on his chest. Alexis was blushing through the whole thing, but settled down when she heard Naruto's heartbeat. Naruto then snaked his arms around their waists and drew them closer. "Good, my dueling angels," he said before closing his eyes. "Good night, our future king of games," they said in unison before turning off the lamps on the nightstands and following Naruto to dreamland. A week has gone by since the tag duel between Naruto and Judai versus the Paradox Brothers. During the week, Naruto and his friends did sports. The first sport they did was baseball with RA Yellow versus Slifer Red, but since the Slifer team was down a few players, Naruto and Judai decided to play for their former dorm. It was Judai's turn to hit, but the pitcher switched out for Bastion. Bastion threw the ball and Judai swung and hit a home run, only for the ball to hit Dr. Growler, who looked as pale as a ghost, probably still thinking of the tongue-lashing he received from Chancellor Shepard after the tag duel. After speaking to Bastion about being promoted to Obelisk Blue, he warned Chaz that if he didn't win his duel with Bastion, then he'd be demoted to RA Yellow, something that he didn't want. So when he learned that Bastion moved all of his furniture out of his room due to repainting, he stole Bastion's deck and threw it into the ocean. Hoping to avoid dueling the young dueling mathematician, only to learn that Bastion had multiple decks, impressing everyone, especially Naruto, since he too had multiple decks to work with, which means learning all the strategies for each deck without any mix-ups if the decks were similar. Anyways, Bastion won his duel, but declined Growler's offer to join the Obelisk dorm, saying that he wanted to beat Naruto and Judai before even considering a promotion. The next day was a break from sports, but Naruto and friends learned that Chaz had gone missing. Naruto and Judai didn't seem too bothered with it, since they didn't like the guy, but Alexis egged the two on and even promised something special for them in the evening now that got their attention. Anyways, Naruto and Judai, along with Alexis, Chumli, Cyrus, Mindy and Jasmine, went to go search for the Obelisk student, only for Jazz to be kidnapped by an ape with a dual disc who was being chased by a couple of suspicious characters. The ape, named Wheeler, something that Naruto found hilarious, ended up dueling against Judai, who volunteered since she wanted to really give her new deck a trial run since she didn't understand the inner workings of her new deck. She won, of course, and Jasmine was set free upon the condition should Judai win. When the scientists threatened to take not only Wheeler away, but his family who happened to be watching the duel, Professor Banner threatens them with torture, thus forcing them to back off. The Slifer-Dorm representative explained that Chaz has already left the island on his family's private yacht, so basically they missed him. The next day was a tennis day with Naruto, Judai, Jasmine and Mindy occupying a court, with it being Naruto and Judai versus Jasmine and Mindy. It was going well, that is until Naruto hit it too hard. The ball was on a direct path to Alexis, something he was about to regret, but someone got to it and redirected the ball to an unsuspecting growler, hitting him in the face. 2 balls in the same eye within the same week. Someone must really hate the guy. An evil laugh. The person who redirected the ball was an obelisk student named Mitsuru Ayanokuji, the young heir to Ayanokuji Motors, who upon meeting the eyes of Alexis blushed and started getting all touchy-feely on her. This of course pissed off Naruto and was about to confront the boy, until Growler pulled him away from the group to give him his punishment. He wanted to protest, but it was partially his fault since the ball was heading towards Alexis, thus giving Mitsuru the opportunity to save her from a black eye that Growler was now sporting. His punishment was to be the assistant/target practice to the captain of the tennis team, Mitsuru Ayanokuji. As he was serving his punishment, Alexis along with Judai, Cyrus, Mindy and Jasmine came to the courts, drawing the attentions of both Naruto and Mitsuru. At first, Mitsuru thought Alexis came to watch him further humiliate the yellow student, but was ignored as she walked past him to talk to Naruto about the whereabouts of Chaz. This didn't sit too well with Mitsuru and challenged Naruto to a duel, with the winning becoming Alexis's boyfriend. Oh, now this set Naruto off in a very bad way. How bad, you may ask? Well, black aura surged from Naruto, and the image of a giant 10-tailed wolf with 3 glowing red eyes stared at the obelisk student. On top of that, if you look very closely, you can see 10 tails swirling violently behind Naruto as if they were his own, and an eye in the center of his forehead with 3 rings around the pupil and 3 tomos on each ring. Calming down after he noticed that his killing intent was affecting Alexis and company, he accepted the duel, and long story short, Naruto utterly destroyed Mitsuru. That was when Mitsuru learned 2 very, and I mean very important things that day. 1. Alexis was Naruto's girlfriend, so she was off limits, and 2. Never, and I repeat never, challenge a very angry boyfriend, because said boyfriend just might show you how ruthless he can be. The funny thing about this whole thing was that both Mindy and Jasmine were trying to get Alexis hooked up with Mitsuru, but after seeing Naruto destroy the young Ayanokuji heir, they rethought the idea because no one wanted to get on Naruto's bad side. The rest of the week was uneventful until Shepard announced that the holiday break was next week, so Naruto invited both Alexis and Judai to attend Christmas at his home, aka Duelist Kingdom, and of course made the offer even sweeter when he said that his family was coming over, and if you know Naruto then you'd know who his godfather and god-brother are, along with his future brother-in-law. They accepted, only if their family could come as well. Naruto agreed and informed his father of his arrival, something Pegasus was looking forward to. Duelist Kingdom, Pegasus Castle. Here we find Naruto along with Alexis and Judai cuddling each other in front of a fireplace as they waited for the other guests to arrive. Both Alexis's parents and Judai's parents were talking to Pegasus in his study, mainly about the relationship of their children, and should it continue, since polygamy was, although acceptable, is still frowned upon. As they watched the fire dance, Naruto drew them closer, getting their attention. "I hope we can be like this for many years to come," he said with a sober expression. "I hope so too, Naruto-kun. I don't want this to end," said a less cheerful Judai. "Whatever happens, we'll face it together," Alexis trying to lighten the mood. "I hope you're right, Alexis-chan," Naruto said, holding both Alexis and Judai as if they were his lifelines. Pegasus's study. In Pegasus' study was Maximilian Pegasus along with Alexis's father James Rhodes, along with Judai's parents Irika Yuki and Anko Yuki, and Anko's fun personality with a female version of Irika. The parents were discussing the current relationship their children were having, especially since their children were seeing each other. "I don't know what to do. I mean, I'm happy for my daughter to find some happiness after her mother died and her brother, my son, disappeared, but," James said, trying to see the silver lining in his daughter's relationship with the young Pegasus heir. "I understand what you're trying to say, Mr. Rhodes. When me and my wife learned that our daughter got a boyfriend during her time at Duel Academy, we were both happy that she found someone, but at the same time worried that she was dating someone who only wanted one thing. But after coming here and seeing her interact with Pegasus's son and your daughter, we knew she was with the right people. But their relationship with each other, though questionable, is one built on trust. That much we can see, Irika said, worried for his daughter. Oh, relax, you two. Our daughters love young Naruto-kun and he hasn't pushed anything on them, which goes to show that he is perfect boyfriend or perfect husband material. Plus their love lives will be interesting, Anko said as she giggled. The men in the study blushed a bit, but quickly banished the thoughts of their children's love lives from their heads, before it turned into something morbid. Clearing his throat, Pegasus caught their attention. I believe that it's up to our children to decide whether or not should they pursue a relationship, and it's our job as parents to guide and support their decision, and I for one support my son's decision in terms of his relationship with your daughters. He sent me letters via email about how he loves them both and would walk through hell and back to ensure their safety, and from what Naruto told me, Serenity Wheeler, his fiancée, was okay with their relationship since they can keep him out of trouble, he said. Fiancé? They said, as it was their only word they got out from what Pegasus said. Yes, Naruto and Serenity Wheeler, the young sister of Joey Wheeler, are engaged, though my son had to prove to Joey Boy that he was fit to ask his sister for her hand in marriage, and he did with a spectacular duel, Pegasus said, remembering the duel his son had with Joey, and it was quite the show. Wait, if your son has a fiancée, then why? James said, but was cut off by Pegasus. Like I said, they asked Serenity to pursue a relationship with my son, and it was a way to make sure my son doesn't land himself in trouble like the time he and Jidai went to save a friend from being expelled for going to the girls' dorm after hours, only for him to have fallen for the same trap. But only to win against young Alexis, and this all started by a teacher who wanted to expel my son because he humiliated him in his own class, Pegasus said, remembering the letter he got which spoke of a fake love letter, and saving a friend because said friend decided to investigate the origins of the letter, only to be captured to lure Naruto to the destination mentioned in the letter. Ah yes, I remember that from one of my daughter's letters, James said, knowing what Pegasus was talking about. Our daughter wrote the same thing, said Irika. It seemed that our children have been through a lot since they started attending Duel Academy. All I can say is give this relationship of theirs a chance, and who knows, maybe one day there might be wedding bells and the laughter of children in their future, Pegasus said, imagining the marriage of his son and his wives. Then his future grandchildren coming to visit their grandfather. The other parents imagined the same thing and nodded, agreeing with Pegasus. Very well, I'll agree to this. But if your son hurts my daughter, then he has made an enemy of the Rhodes family, James said, warning Pegasus. Same goes for us, Irika said, with his wife agreeing. Then it's settled, Pegasus added. Then he turned to one of his butlers. Please get Naruto, Alexis, and Jidai, he asked the butler, who nodded and left to fetch his quarry. With Naruto, Alexis, and Jidai, the three sat in front of the fireplace, when the door opened, revealing one of the butlers. 1,000 pardons, Master Naruto, but Master Pegasus wishes that you along with Mistress Alexis and Mistress Jidai are to go to his study, he said, informing the three for his presence. The three looked at each other with worry, but got up and followed the butler to Pegasus's study room. When the three arrived to the study, they noticed that their parents were staring at them, basically put them on the spot. Look, I know what you're going to say, Dad, but I'm not changing my mind, Naruto said, with Alexis and Jidai following suit. That's right, Father. I love Naruto-kun and Jidai-chan, and nothing you can say or do will ever change that, Alexis stated. No matter what you say or do, our minds won't be changed, so either accept it or don't. But know this, if you choose to not accept this, then never speak to us again, Jidai said, threatening her parents. At first there was silence, but then Pegasus chuckled. My, our children are really adamant about keeping their relationship, aren't they? He asked the other parents. Yes, I've never seen our daughter talk to us in such a manner that it scares us of how important this is for her, Irika said. Oh, that defiant attitude is definite from my side of the family, Anko said with a grin, stating that she was proud of her daughter. Seeing my daughter hold on to this makes me wonder what my dear Anastasia, and Alexis' mother, would say to this, James said, remembering his dear wife. Then we're in an agreement that our children won't stop seeing each other, then Pegasus said, catching their children off guard. Yes, I can see that my daughter is happy with your son, Pegasus, so I won't stop them from pursuing a relationship. But nothing too intimate, they're still in school after all, he said, giving a hint of warning in his voice, something that everyone caught. I would agree I'm too young to be a grandmother, Anko stated, making Naruto, Alexis, and Judai blush and the parent laugh at Anko's remark. Then you're okay with us seeing each other? Asked a surprised Judai. Yes, of course, however, James said, then turned to Naruto. Hurt my daughter in any way, I will personally introduce you to my sword collection, James said, completely lacing his words with venom to make his point clear. Hi James Dano, Naruto said as he felt the killing intent on him evaporate as James smiled. No, that the boy knows not to mess with the former world champion fencer. Well, now I do believe our other guests will be arriving shortly, so be at the gathering hall in 30 minutes to greet them. Time skip. Within the span of an hour, the other guests arrive in the form of Sito Kaiba and his young brother Makuba, along with Yugi Moto, his girlfriend T. Gardner, and his grandfather Solomon Moto. Then the Wheelers. Kawaii Wheeler, her son Joey Wheeler with his girlfriend Mai Valentine and her daughter Serenity Wheeler, along with them Tristan Taylor, Duke Devlin, and the Ishtar family arrived to Pegasus Castle via his private helicopter. Both Judai and Alexis were starstruck as they were in the presence of some of the most powerful duelists in the entire world, with Yugi being ranked first, followed by Sito Kaiba, then Joey Wheeler, and finally Merrick Ishtar. Naruto had to stop Judai from running up to them as asking for their autographs, but knew that Alexis would ask for the same thing, but she composed herself since she didn't want to make a scene and embarrass herself in front of her father. Naruto along with Judai and Alexis approached the group. Hey everyone, welcome to the party, he said, greeting the group. My Naruto, you sure have grown since I last saw you, Solomon said as greet the young Pegasus heir. Has sure have, Gigi-san, Naruto said with his trademark grin. I'll say, by the way, who the nice ladies that re standing with you? Asked Yugi's grandfather. Oh, allow me to introduce Alexis Rhodes and Judai Yuki, my fellow classmate from Duel Academy and very special friends of mine, he said, trying to hide his real relationship from his grandfather figure, but the old man can tell that he was hiding something. Very special friends, huh? Sounds to me that there is more to it than that, he said, making the group stiffen at the old man's remark. But it's your secret to share, so I won't say anything, he said as the three breathed a sigh of relief. Anyways, I'm going to introduce them to the rest if that's alright, Gigi-san, he said to Solomon. Of course, so please go have fun, it is your party after all, Solomon said as he went to speak with Pegasus. Naruto and his group arrived at Yugi's group. Hey bro, how's it going, he said, getting the group's attention. Yugi turned to Naruto as he approached. Oh hey Naruto, I'm doing great, the king of games said as Naruto along with Judai and Alexis who flanked the young blonde. So I see you and T are here. Anyone else? He asked. Yup, Joey is here with his girlfriend Mai Valentine, also Serenity and Kawaii Wheeler are here as well, also Sito and Makuba are here as well, and the Ishtar family tagged along, Yugi said, surprising Naruto that not only his godfather and soon-to-be brother and mother-in-law are here, but the famous Ishtar family, who all participated in the Battle City semi-finals and the climatic final duel between Yugi and Merrick for the fate of the world. Yugi then took notice of the two girls. Oh hello there, he said, which he slightly regretted as Judai pushed Naruto out of the way with stars in her eyes. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, it's really you. Judai squealed, making Yugi back away. Judai then pulls out a picture showing the Battle City finalist. Can I have your autograph? She asked. Yugi laughed nervously, but was always happy to meet a fan, so he pulled out a marker and signed the picture. Then he noticed another picture. Only this one belonged to Alexis Rhodes, who blushed since she too wanted hers side, but didn't express it like her harem sister, so Yugi ended up signing both pictures. Judai hugged Yugi, then ran over to Joey for his autograph, with Alexis following after, mainly to make sure Judai didn't cause too much trouble. Getting her picture signed was a bonus. Naruto picked himself up and looked at Joey, who was cowering behind Mai to avoid an overzealous fan named Judai Yuki, which made Naruto laugh. Never a dull moment with her, huh bro? Asked Yugi as he watched his friend finally cave and sign the photo, much to Mai's request from the way Joey slumped in defeat. You can say that, bro. Judai is fun to be with, and with Alexis there's the stabilizing element, keeper her from trouble. Most of the time, he said, not wanting Yugi to take this as the example of Alexis handling Judai. I can tell, How's life in the academy aside from having your girlfriends keeping you company? Asked the king of games. It's okay, although I feel that something big is going to happen, and knowing my luck, it'll happen soon, the blonde said, knowing that with his good luck there was also a strong bad luck that followed him like the plague. Hey bro, no offense, but now it's your turn to deal with crazy stuff now, Yugi said as he patted Naruto's back as if passing the torch of having to deal with the crazy bullshit like dealing with Pegasus when he was evil, the fiasco with the Egyptian god cards, and a Merrick who turned to the dark side. Darts and his biker goons who used the seal of orichalcos, then the whole Bakura thing. Basically Yugi now didn't have to deal with the whole fate of the world crap, so now it's someone else's problem. Gee thanks bro, Naruto said as he gave Yugi a deadpan look. Anytime bro, Yugi said with a smile on his face. Before the two can speak, Merrick Ishtar joined them after signing Judai and Alexis' picture. Hey Yugi, Naruto, he greeted the two boys. Oh hey Merrick, good to see you, Yugi said. Merrick Ishtar. How do you know my name? Naruto asked, wondering how Merrick knew his name. I was here when you had the exhibition duel against the Paradox brothers, and I must say that was the most one-sided duel I've ever seen, Merrick said. Naruto grinned at the praise. Thanks, and I have to say you're a good duelist too, even though it wasn't you who dueled in the Battle City tournament, Naruto said, causing Merrick to flinch as he remembered when his dark side took over his body and ran amok until Yugi and the Pharaoh stopped him in the Battle City final round. Say, want to have a duel? Asked Merrick, eager to duel against the one who now possessed all three god cards. Really, you want to duel me? Naruto asked, shocked that the young Ishtar would challenge him to a duel. Sure. I saw how you defeated the Paradox brothers, so I want to see if that was pure skill or dumb luck, said Merrick in a challenging tone. Oh, it is on, Naruto said, getting everyone's attention. 30 minutes later. Naruto and Merrick stood on the duel platform that was used for the Duelist Kingdom tournament finals, with Naruto in the red corner and Merrick in the blue. On the balcony facing the dueling arena stood the guests of the party while Pegasus sat in his chair. This duel will be between Merrick Ishtar and my son Naruto, Pegasus. Alright young duelists, shuffle your decks and begin, Pegasus said as both duelists shuffled their respective decks, laid then on the deck square. Duel, they both said. Naruto, 4,000. Merrick, 4,000. If you don't mind, I'll start things off, Merrick said as he ready to draw his card. Not at all, Naruto said. Then I draw. I play one card in face-down defense position and one card face-down, which ends my turn, Merrick said. Planning something, I see. Very well, I draw, Naruto said as he drew from his deck. First I activate the spell The Melody of Awakening Dragon, normal spell. Discard one card. Add 2 dragon-type monsters with 3,000 or more ATK and 2,500 or less def from your deck to your hand. By using this I can discard a card and add 2 dragon-type monsters with 3,000 or more attack points and 2,500 or less defense points, Naruto said as he discarded a card, then searched his deck for what he was looking for. Naruto then revealed what he was searching for, and the expression on everyone's faces saying Pegasus, Naruto's academy girlfriends, and the Kybus was a look of shock. For you see, he revealed a Blue Eyes white dragon and a Blue Eyes alternative white dragon. The Blue Eyes, but how? Asked Merrick, shocked that his opponent was using Kybus Ace monster. My father originally made a deck for that centered around getting the Blue Eyes out quickly, but then he decided to give the monster support, and I have to say the support has done wonders for it, he said as he continued his turn. Now then I reveal my Blue Eyes in my hand to special summon my Blue Eyes alternative white dragon, he said as he summoned his dragon. Balcony. Up in the balcony, Judai had a familiar but strange case of déjà vu, because this is the same play Naruto used against her when he used his original deck he got back from his father. Alexis, you don't think? Yes, I know, but knowing Naruto and this deck, it's going to be full of surprises, answered Alexis, getting everyone's attention. What do you mean? Asked Yugi. When Naruto dueled Judai using this deck, he defeated her on the very first turn. That deck is quite possibly the most powerful deck I've ever seen. Maybe even stronger than your current deck, Yugi-san, answered Alexis. Oh no, please don't, me my future brother-in-law is taking after Kaiba and Joey. Oh, and what's wrong with being like me, and beside it's better than being a third-rate duelist like yourself, Kaiba jabbed. Why you? Yelled Joey as Tristan, and T fought to hold Joey back. From what I've seen when I went up against that deck, I felt like it was holding itself back as if it sensed Naruto's fear of hurting me, so it limited itself all for the sake of its master, said Judai. She turned her attention back to the duel, completely missing the shocked look of Joey and because they know just how OP the Six Samurai deck was, so for his original deck to completely blow that deck out of the water warrant the shock. Duel. That's quite the power play, Naruto. Being able to summon such a powerful monster on the first turn is no small feat, Merrick said with a mixture of awe and shock in his tone of voice, almost fearing what else that deck was capable of. Thanks, but I've yet to end my turn. So next I normal summon Manju of the 10,000 Hands, Light Attribute, LVL4, Fairy/Effect. When this card is normal summoned or flip summoned, you can select one ritual monster card or one ritual spell card from your deck and add it to your hand. ATK 1400/Def 1000, Naruto said as he summoned a new monster. Now I active Manju's ability and search for either a ritual monster or a ritual spell card, he said as he searched for what he was looking for. Now I activate the ritual spell card Chaos Form, ritual spell card. This card can be used to ritual summon any Chaos or Black Luster Soldier ritual monster. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field and or banish Blue Eyes White Dragon or Dark Magician from your graveyard, whose total levels exactly equal the level of the Chaos or Black Luster Soldier ritual monster you ritual summon, and by banishing the Blue Eyes in my hand I can call forth Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon, Dark Attribute. LVL8, Dragon/Ritual/Effect. You can ritual summon this card with Chaos Form. Must be ritual summoned, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. Cannot be targeted, or destroyed by your opponent's card effects. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict double piercing battle damage to your opponent. ATK 4000/Def 0, Naruto said as a portal opened to revealing the futuristic dragon, which then gave a mighty roar. Balcony. No one said a word when this new monster appeared. The only thing going through their mind was how powerful this deck was. Hell, even Kaiba was both excited and disturbed at the same time. Excited because his godson was becoming more like him with each passing week, but also disturbed because his godson was proving that he could use the Blue Eyes archetype better than he could. Now that's what I call a monster, sure as hell beats anything you can summon, Kyow, Joey said, but was stopped by Serenity. That's enough, and Serenity said as she slapped him on the back of his head. Joey does make a point though, that is quite a monster, Tristan said. Yes, and like the Blue Eyes being the embodiment of power and strength, that dragon is the pinnacle of strength, Solomon Moto said with everyone agreeing. Arena. Merrick was in serious trouble. He only had one card on the field and his opponent had three, and any combination of the monsters could end the duel. Now I'll end this duel, Merrick. But first I activate Blue Eyes Alternative's ability and destroy your face-down monster, he said as his weaker dragon charged its attack and fired on the face-down monster, revealing itself to be a man in a black tunic, before being vaporized. Thank you for you see the monster you destroyed was Gravekeeper's Spy, Dark Attribute, LVL4, Spellcaster/Effect, Flip, Special Summon one Gravekeeper's monster with 1500 or less ATK from your deck. ATK 1200/Def 2000, and when it's flip summon I can special summon a Gravekeeper monster so long as his attack powers are 1500 or less, so I special summon Gravekeeper's Recruiter, Dark Attribute, LVL3, Spellcaster/Effect. When this card you control is sent to your graveyard, add one Gravekeeper's monster with 1500 or less def from your deck to your hand. ATK 1200/Def 1500. In defense mode, Merrick said as he summoned a new monster who looked like his older brother Odian. Naruto, seeing the pattern, deduced that Merrick was using a Gravekeeper deck, and if he allowed this duel to go on for long, the deck may in fact prove to be a threat if it was built to maximize its true power. But not wanting to see what Merrick's deck capable of, he decided that he will end the duel here and now. I'm ending this duel, Merrick. Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon attack his recruiter. End this duel, he ordered his monster. What do you mean? My monster is in defense mode, so I'll receive no damage, Merrick said. That would be true, but should my dragon attack a monster in defense mode, the difference between my monster's attack points and your monster's defense points is dealt to you as damage, but my monster does double the damage you would have received, he said, shocking everyone saying Pegasus since he created the card. And 2,500 plus 2,500 equals 5,000 life point you will lose. So this duel ends with my dragon. Go Chaos Max Dragon, end this duel with ultimate burst stream, he ordered his dragon. Chaos Max then shot lasers from its wing right before launching a powerful blast at Gravekeeper's recruiter. Upon impact, the defending monster was obliterated, and as was Merrick's life points. Merrick, 4,000 minus 5,000 is equal to minus 1,000. Naruto, 4,000, FTK, winner. Balcony. Well, what did I say? I knew he would win, Sito said as he knew that his godson was going to win. Yep, though the fact he's taking after you is kind of troubling, stated Judai, who was happy to see her boyfriend come out victorious. I can't agree with you more on that, Judai-san, but that's why he has us to keep him in check, Serenity said, getting a nod from both Judai and Alexis. That's right, one Sito Kaiba is enough for this lifetime, we don't need another, stated Alexis, but knew full well that Zane can easily be a second Sito in the making, just without the arrogance. Before anyone could say anything, Pegasus decided to speak. Well, that sure was an exciting action-packed duel, but I believe it's time for dinner, he said as everyone's stomach started growling. Everyone, even the monster spirit's sweat dropped at this, laughed embarrassedly. I guess you're right too, San, Naruto said to his adopted father. Everyone left the dueling arena and arrived at the dining room where everyone had a great big Christmas dinner. There was laughter, cheering, and the occasional bickering between Joey and Sito, which ended when I stepped in to stop Joey from embarrassing himself in front of his family and friends. But no one seemed to mind that much because that just was Joey is. After dinner, Pegasus offered that everyone could spend the night at his castle, an offer that everyone agreed on, especially Serenity, who wanted to spend time with her fiancé and his other girlfriends. So, all four ended up in Naruto's room where they discussed the terms of them being with Naruto, and if any more were to appear, that it must be a 2-3 vote of who'll join their group, and Naruto must give a good reason for including the girl. The four then ended up sleeping in the same bed, but nothing above PG after all, they're still young teenagers. Make how boss monsters deal with the unexpected. As everyone slept, the monster spirits came out to play. Though more like introduced themselves as the new deck monsters haven't been properly to the 6 samurais. Blue Eyes White Dragon, Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, Dragon Spirit of White, Maiden with Eyes of Blue, Sage with Eyes of Blue, Manju of the 10,000 Hands, the White Stone of Legend and Ancients, Max C, Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon, Azure Eyes Silver Dragon and Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. The boss monsters from each deck were sitting at the dining room table discussing on how to assist Naruto in future battles. Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon, you're the new boss monster for Naruto to use in battle, sure, and asked the blue-eyed dragon. Yes, and you must be Naruto-sama's boss monster for those warriors he received from his father after he left us to be developed, the large dragon said via telepath. Yes, and I have to admit you're by far the strongest monster I've seen since the Egyptian god cards. By the way, where are they? He asked, as he would have assumed that since they were also boss monsters in the 6 samurai deck they would be here to discuss future battles. I believe they said something about taking a dip. Whatever that means? Said Chaos Max, not used to the modern speeches and terms. Wait, the only place big enough for those 3 is... He stopped his train of thought as he looked outside the window which faces the lake and sees all 3 god monsters waiting in the lake. This made Shuren's sweat drop at what Blue Eyes meant. Well, nothing we can do about that, said the 6 samurai synchro monster. I guess we'll just leave it at that, asked the dragon, not wanting to piss off the monster that could quite literally nuke him into non-existence. Yup, not going to bother with that, completely agreeing with the white dragon monster, as they ignored the 3 god monsters waiting in the lake outside the castle. Chapter end. Tired of watching censored fanfics? Would you like to watch some very naughty, filled with the lemons fanfics without any censorship? I'm happy to announce that I opened Patreon page for you guys, where you could watch Naruto/Deku, 18+ stories without any censoring. Not only that, you can also see the NSFW images of characters of the fics on my Patreon, which I make by myself. so buy your preferred tier and join our community now. Link is in the description.